Well, to unpack everything that's unfolding in French politics, I'm joined now by Jean-Christophe Gallien. He's a political scientist and communication strategist on campaigns and protests. Welcome to the program, and thanks so much for speaking to us. Let's start then with the far right. Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella have been striking an optimistic tone. How likely, in your opinion, are they to perform in the upcoming legislative elections as successfully as they did in the EU elections?
You know, you need to feel they have the momentum. They're one part of the political offer in France that has a momentum coming out from the European election we just finished this Sunday. So they probably could be in capacity at least to find a way of getting in. You know, we have a two-round election this time, and these finals between two candidates on the second round could be their way to get at not eventually at power, but at least to have a kind of majority, which we call relative majority, which could be in capacity to find allies to build a government coalition. So this is something very unusual, because at this time they have the capacity to be, at least we have 560, I think, again, deputies, MPs, and probably they'll be in finals in second round in around 500 geographies. So this is a way for them to be very, very, very in capacity to be effective as they've never been before.
Right, and meanwhile, Eric Ciotti has successfully challenged in the courts an attempt to oust him as the leader of Les Républicains. There's obviously so much division there. Where do the Conservatives go from here?
Well, this is going to be very difficult because the election timing is very short. So they have a week to be in justice with, elements to show which has the right to go in campaign. But the campaign starts this Monday. So obviously there will be at least two Les Républicains offering with the same logo, one going with the Rassemblement National, which is something this is already done. And probably when you look and you call everywhere in France, there are at least 70, 80, 90 possibilities to that. But they have always the same. The ones that did stay as Les Républicains, they will be pushing their candidates. We're talking about 300 probably candidates around France. And now you have a third Les Républicains that did a deal with Renaissance, which is the Macron's party. So this is very tricky. You have three Les Républicains, three times the logo, three times a way of going, at least starting from Monday, which is the start of the campaigning, until Friday, where maybe there will be a decision from the court to say which is on his right. So it's impossible to deal. So we'll have to wait now for the second round to see which are the results. And then we'll see what remains of Les Républicains, probably something different. Maybe there will be the ones that will be winning with the Rassemblement National, which is the main dynamic now. Maybe some will find a way to save their political life, electoral life on the ground with the Républicains only. But probably something that will remain, but quite different. Which is interesting is Laurent Wauquier's position. You know, he used to be one of the favorites for the presidential into 2027, and he's a close ally from Ciotti, but he remained in silence. He's still the president of the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, and now he's going back into the legislative election in Haute-Loire, and probably he didn't say much. Which are the ones that are in power to do what they are doing? Either Ciotti, either the reigning historical part, and all the ones that go with Renaissance. So he is waiting, as some of us, to find a way of analyzing the results in the second round, which will give us the real Republican Party after this election.
Right, and now the newly formed left coalition, the Popular Front, has put forth a very ambitious and very left-wing manifesto. They are rising in the polls, but how much credibility do they have right now? I mean, not to mention they still have to decide on a leader to see this through.
Yeah, probably what they achieved is something that Macron didn't quite understand when he called for the solution. This is a way of 24 hours to get at least an electoral deal. Let's say going together at the election. This is the way they know in a 2-round election to save what they have right now for either parties, from the socialists to La France Insoumise. But they went beyond, because they know something is possible for them to create a dynamic this week and for the 2 remaining weeks around the fact that now everybody is talking and everybody is measuring and finding that this will be the real competition. It's not between le Rassemblement National and Macron, it's between them and le Rassemblement National. This is incapacity to find a way to boost, not only to save their life politically, but to way of boosting their capacity to be collectively, not individually, a real force at the parliament. But now they have. This is only an electoral deal. Yesterday they were presenting a kind of governmental deal for the first year of government if they were going in power, and nobody will trust them on the fact that they forgot what they were thinking around each of them, which are very different. From Hollande to Mr. Poutou is something very large and too large to be honest, really, on the fact that could govern together. But the way of going into the election collectively as le Front Populaire, which is something very interesting, and without pushing in front a figure like Mr. Mélenchon, Mr. Hollande, or whatever, is a way of dueling against the Rassemblement National, and probably they will be going into a good result. Polls say they have in the finals between the 2 of them in maybe 400 geographies.
Right, and obviously this was a massively high-stakes move for Macron, because in the case of a far-right victory, that could become his overarching legacy, and that's very risky for the French president. What exactly is Macron's game plan here?
I would love to know. I quite didn't understand what was happening in Sunday evening. You know, it probably, like other people, made me even angry. Not because of putting the Rassemblement National in power or whatever at LFI. It's only that, you know, we have a special timing. This is a European election time, so there will be a European agenda where France will be very weak in negotiating the top jobs, for example, of the next European institutions' timing for the 5 next years. And then we have the Olympic Games that are coming. And so we didn't need that kind of fighting. You were talking about what's happening in the street today. I'm living quite you have your correspondent that was on Place de la République, and we're talking about 500 meters from that. And we already feel right now what's happening. And because the leftists and the hard part of the leftists will be demonstrating very hard the whole week around, and this is going to be polarizing again a bit more the French society, which didn't need that all. And we didn't need that all at the same as a country trying to push over into the European Union and elsewhere our interests. And this is something I can't understand. Probably the fact is that we're talking about a presidential majority today, and it will be a minority in a few days, because they will be the ones that probably will be defeated the most in that election.
All right, Jean-Christophe Gallien, political scientist and communication strategist, thank you so much for your analysis and for your time here on France 24.